I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. I said, yeah, and see, that's what the problem was. I said, hold on. So I knew something was wrong. I knew something special about it.
What is my problem?
Whoa. With less than 3 days until Bitcoin receives its monthly close. If Bitcoin can close above this level, that indicates a very strong bullish momentum that could push Bitcoin above 10,000 US dollars in the short term. There is a large amount of resistance directly above us, right around the 8,000 US dollar level on many charts, and it will be significant to break. However, a strong monthly close would be exactly what we need to push above this level and finally get a break. And as well, on this chart, we have just absolutely been hugging the very tippy top of this line for about 4 straight days. We saw a strong rejection off of it late last night as we really came close to breaking above, guys. Will we get another test very soon? The more we test this line, the more likely it is we could break it, but don't be fooled, there is still a large battle ahead of us. And as well, the clear rejection here, guys, absolutely huge. We have to talk about that. But we do have a CME futures gap all the way up here, guys. Will Bitcoin go up and fill that gap, or will we be banished to another zone for all of eternity? We will get into detail about this price target that if Bitcoin closes on the monthly, we could see a massive slingshot and potentially monthly green after monthly green candle moving forward for the rest of 2020. And finally, everybody, pretty much literally everyone, is expecting at least one more massive dump before Bitcoin goes on a parabolic rally. But what if we're in fact already right here on this chart? Let's delve into it. Whoa, thanks so much for joining me, guys. Welcome back to a new exciting episode of Bitcoin. With only days away until we receive the monthly close, these are extremely exciting times for Bitcoin. Guys, there is so much indecisiveness around this current move, and many people believe that we need at least one more massive dump before we can even go parabolic. But will we or don't we? We'll take a look at that in this episode, guys. And as well, this is the big one. If you guys want to enter, we're going to be giving away this bad boy in the next upload. Make sure to drop a comment below, guys. Make sure to smash the comments, smash the likes, leave a subscribe below, and we can just jump into the content. So I actually want to start off with this chart posted by Colin T Crypto here on Twitter. It's a basic chart, but this is basically the trajectory most people are expecting based on the past that Bitcoin is going to be headed into and initiating a multi-year massive bull market. Now, my question to you is, everybody's expecting this, so what are the chances this does happen? As we get closer and closer to this happening, there are more and more critics of this, you guys. But I just want to remind everyone out there, there has always been critics of Bitcoin, hundreds of news articles, thousands actually, over the past 10 years, calling for Bitcoin to fail, and so far it has not. So among many other things, that is one reason to give you a little bit of confidence and a little bit of a sparkle in your eye. Basically, what this chart shows is leveling off and going into the bull market, guys. Very exciting stuff. You see this shortly after the halving, just a few months. This is the area what's considered a bull run after the halving. So will we get it this time? That's the most important question. If we switch over to the monthly chart, I want to paint this picture for you. Okay, so far this month has been absolutely everything we pretty much could have hoped for. Not massive gains, but that's not what we were looking for this month. What we were looking for this month was some stability and some positive price momentum. And guys, if you look on any chart, you can basically see so far the price has been obviously on a very slow and steady trajectory upwards. And as long as that continues, then we can keep the dream alive. Basically, what we're going to be looking for here on the monthly is a close above the 7,700 US dollar area, which if we go to certain charts, I mean, this has just been a zone that's just been critical. Again, we've been spending so much time within these zones. They're not that fun to be in because the price doesn't go a lot. It doesn't swing high or swing low. It's been very, very slow, drudgy price action. But slow and steady in this environment is the most important thing that we could be expecting. So with only a few days left to go, guys, if we get a close above the 7,700 US dollar level, I think we could potentially see some massive green candles or even slow and steady ones to start it off after this halving and really begin a cycle similar to this one. Wow, with that being said, I actually want to draw your attention to, guys, the CME gap, which we do have above us. So again, it could make this so it could just add some credence to the fact that we could see some more upside. But I actually want to switch a little bit now to some shorter term technical analysis here. If we actually take this 4 hour and put it on the 1 hour chart, we can get up close and personal, and we can really just take a deep dive into what we've been seeing over the past 4 days here. It's just that we have been spending so much time bouncing off of this green line, which if we actually zoom out, I can show you what exactly this green line represents. This goes back basically the entire month to March 12th when we had that massive drop there. We've just been trading in between this range, and these lines have been critical. They've each one of them has been completely accurate in terms of where we find support and resistance. It's been ascending a support and resistance every single time. What I mean by that, for example, we find some support here and it completely ascends. It continuously inches up until you see it break down, and then it continually inches up again. Same thing here. We've had inching up support along these lines. So you can basically draw that back the entire way there. As far as this, the new target, again, it's still right around the $8,000 level. If we could get a break there, I personally think it's going to be very hard in the short term to continue up. However, if we are going to, what would be the most bullish, I think, is if we had monthly momentum behind it. And what I mean by that is by putting in a very strong macro candle like this monthly here, which as of right now, guys, this is pretty good looking here. It covers more than half of the body of this candle. Clearly, it was a very volatile month. I mean, this wick is absolutely massive. And if we zoom out on the Bitcoin chart, I think it might actually be like the longest wick. It definitely is. It's the longest wick to the downside that Bitcoin has had on these monthly charts. We had a very big wick to the upside here back in 2011, already 9 years ago. But aside from that, guys, this is the largest monthly wick. And again, this was not just pure Bitcoin price action. This had to do more with the economy and the global situation there. But overall, a really strong monthly close could propel us. If we, just a few days away, if we can at least hold this for a few days, at the very least, we could easily be seeing another retest of 10K, guys. And then the most exciting part, we can get into what 10K really means. Because I think if we get to 10K, I don't think we're going to stop. I think if we're going to stop the price action and get a rejection, I think it'll be actually around the $8,000 level. I don't think we're going to get a rejection again at the $10,000 level. And that's what I want to show you. That's extremely important and extremely exciting because the ramifications of that could be absolutely mind-blowing. And the last thing I want to say here, guys, I don't even necessarily know if we would have went below this 21-week moving average again if what happened in the world didn't happen. So, I mean, it already happened, so we can't really guess too much, but that's right around the $7,000 level. I don't personally think we would have broken 7,000. I think we could have maybe come down to test it again. I think that makes a lot of sense, but I don't think we would have broken it, especially so substantially, if everything in the world wasn't happening. I mean, this is the Dow Jones. Obviously, this is not being volatile right now, and it's letting Bitcoin do pretty well because whether you believe it or not, there is at least some correlation. For example, if 50% of the entire world lost their employment tomorrow, do you think that would affect Bitcoin's price? I 100% believe it would, because if people don't have money, how are they going to invest? Okay, that's just common sense. So this is what I want to draw your attention to here based on the point I just said about 8,000. This is something I've talked about in the past, but I think this is just so important because, again, you can see this here, the $8,000 level, massive amount. I think the perfect illustration, there's a few reasons why, but the simplest is just here on the VPVR. This whole area is just so boring and there's so much friction in this zone. It's not going to be easy to break above. Now, the next time we test above 10K, this is why I think this is important. If we get a monthly break or at least a monthly close and then it allows us for the month of May 2020 to continue to the upside, what I think will happen, what I think is most likely is if we can break 8K, because that's the biggest thing. I'm not concerned with 9 or 10K or anything like that right now. I definitely think our biggest target of resistance is literally directly above us right now. We are right now at the hardest resistance in the entirety of Bitcoin's chart, in my opinion, right now. So if we break 8K, I think what would happen is if we get a strong break above that, which also is right where the 200-day moving average is, which for many people is an indication of the difference between a bullish and a bearish market. So a bullish market is anything basically above this, and a bearish market is anything below it. And currently, guys, we are just about to test it. We're so close to it, less than a few $100s away from it. So if we do see that, if we do get a strong monthly close, and we do break above this, and then again, most likely, obviously, would have to test it for support again, but then if we find ourselves finding more momentum, this is where things get absolutely explosive. Obviously, if Bitcoin is at 16,000 US dollars, the price action at that area would be explosive. But I'm trying to draw your attention to the precursors for true price action as early as we could indicate them. So say we do get that break, 10,000, if we would break 10,000, we would already have been off to the races by then, guys. Okay, remember, we had breaks along this line multiple times. This was our first resistance here, and this has just been the most important. When we zoom out, you can see this is the most macro pattern in my opinion here, and it's almost completely symmetrical, which I find really interesting as well. This line is basically at the same exact angle as this line, which is very rare, and we didn't really have that indication until we got a massive drop about a month and a half ago on March 12th here, where we could get that second level here. We did clearly go below that, but the more important thing to notice is that we had multiple, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 or 6 daily candles, right, basically finding support right on this area here. Now a break above 8K, guys, if we went to the top of this line right here, so much time has elapsed, that only is about 9,900 US dollars now. It's less than 10,000. So the next time we approach this, and if we would get to say this level again, I think by that point we'd already be off to the races. There is not as much resistance, there is not as much price action, and honestly at this point we've tested this so many times that it is prime. It could easily see a break the next time we come up to retest it. But remember, this area right here, I definitely think is just going to be much harder to break than 10,000. The $8,000 level, 8,000 to about 8,400 is going to be extremely important to watch for. And as well, another perfect illustration of what's going on right now, this area where we got rejected off last night, okay, as we were approaching it, you can see that here in this candle. This is huge support. And resistance, because remember, before the inverse head and shoulders that we had a massive breakout back at the beginning of the year, you know, a $3,000-$4,000 run in just a few weeks, and as well where we find support here back before we skyrocketed in the two largest candles on the daily, two of the largest candles on the daily for Bitcoin in the history of Bitcoin. These two right here, absolutely massive candles there. This whole area has been absolutely crucial. So we're finding a lot of friction here, but guys, we're right at the decision point. If we get a break just a few $100s higher than we currently are, then we're in bullish territory. Currently right now, we're just hovering right under the bearish territory. Now, Bitcoin price target to 10,000, if it breaks the monthly resistance, says the top analyst here, a cryptocurrency trader and analyst with an impressive amount of followers, actually has over 150,000, says he may long his disbelief with a $10,000 target if this happens. And basically it's what we just stated there. If Bitcoin can get a bullish monthly close above 7,700 US dollars, then his target he's eyeing up here is about 10,000 US dollars. However, guys, this is crucial. If we get rejected, say we get a nice dump over the next few days, that could spell some more bearish long-term momentum for Bitcoin. But again, as we're filming the video, everything looks perfect right now, but you never know. 3 days from now, 2 days from now, things could be completely different. And this is really important here. Everyone wants to short Bitcoin's $8,000 level. That's why there's so much there. If you guys look on the order books, it's a crazy level, right? Everyone wants to short that. Everybody's looking for it. And we're just literally still right there. For example, there's the 618 fib retracement, the daily moving averages, 100, 200, and the weekly horizontal resistance that we just showed you on that chart here, this weekly, absolutely critical. So again, critical times. And the last thing I want to draw your attention to is this, guys. You take any poll, because I've taken some polls, I've seen plenty of polls on Twitter and everything. So many people are 50-50. And in fact, for the most part, depending on how you phrase the polls, for the most part, people are actually more bearish than they're bullish. They're expecting a dump. I'll see the comment 4.8 or about 5,000 as another target to the downside. Everywhere. It's everywhere. So what are the chances? And I find this actually interesting on the Wall Street cheat sheet. It looks as though this final dip looks almost like an inverse head and shoulders. But anyway, my point here is that what are the chances we're actually entering a disbelief stage, guys? Hundreds of people have been following this for the past 2.5 years throughout the bear market. And I think this actually becomes important to take into consideration that maybe we are about to enter into the hope phase, optimism, belief, thrill, euphoria. Maybe that is right around the corner. And when I say right around the corner, literally beginning, this slow uptrend, potentially culminating in the last few months of 2020 and 2021 being the most explosive year that we've seen for Bitcoin. So guys, make sure to drop a comment below. Make sure to leave your thoughts and opinions below, and I'll see you in the next one.